Women are so fucking cool.
Women are so fucking cool.
Women are so fucking cool.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Women Are So Fucking Cool. Today's episode was recorded in the Hostel in the Forest. This beautiful place in Brunswick, Georgia, that is just surrounded by trees, and I love trees, and it's just so beautiful. It also has this beautiful pond. I decided to use my different background today to mix it up. Yeah, so I went there to this place, Hostel in the Forest, for my birthday, which I do regularly. It's kind of my annual tradition. And there I met this manager of the hostel, and guess what? She's a fucking cool woman, right? Just proves that FCW are everywhere. So she agreed to be interviewed for the podcast, and we did it on my phone right before I left. It was really special. And I think you're really going to enjoy getting to know Jodi Warren, a fucking cool woman. And if you like this podcast, please share it, support it, check it out, sign up to be on the newsletter and all that other good stuff. All right. Ciao.
Well, this is an exciting episode of Women Are So Fucking Cool because I'm in a forest. And of course, there's fucking cool women in the forest. And I don't even know your last name. Jody?
Yep, Jodi Warren.
Okay, I met her last night. And we were just talking this morning. And so we thought, let's be spontaneous and let's have a fucking cool women conversation.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much. Okay, so first question. What is a fucking cool woman to you?
So, let's see. To me, a fucking cool woman is someone who has a little bit of life experience behind them, and has learned to take the things that have held them back or down and turn it into power and use it to propel themselves forward, and then hopefully help other women in the process. It's kind of my own personal story, and as I have met other women who have shared their things with me, I definitely felt less alone and even inspired to then move forward and help other women.
When do you think you first started recognizing the fucking cool women that were coming into your life?
So when I was early 30s, going through a divorce, separation actually just at that time, I really had such amazing, strong women that I found. Detaching from that relationship and kind of going out on my own, that was the magnetism that I was craving, and I did find that, and a lot of my start really was that, like, just pulling from these women who saw me struggling and kind of gave me a little, a wing to shield me. And yeah, that was kind of my big one. I mean, I've always been a little louder than other girls, and maybe even a little bossy, I was told, right? So I had to turn those things that were at one point a negative that were pushed upon me into my strengths. And although I am not bossy, I do like to lead and by example. So yeah, I just was able to take the examples that I saw and kind of use them to strengthen myself, and that was definitely by the women who chose to give me that hand to hold.
What I'm hearing is one of our maybe powers is that ability to lift each other up in times of struggle.
Absolutely. I really do find strength in women in my elders. Really, I gravitate towards a strong elder woman, and just to listen to their experiences. And generally, they're pretty likely to share their knowledge as well if you're open to receiving.
Right. I agree. There's power in all ages, right? But there's that woman that has really taken the steps to continue to evolve, continue to be learning, and but yet understanding and receiving all the lessons and the power that you keep getting as you age.
Yeah.
So tell me about some women in your life that have really inspired you, and tell me their names and
Sure.
really however you want to share with them.
Yeah, so I have an amazing group of women that I've been gathering with for this year in 2025. I've known a few of them longer, but one of my biggest inspirations, her name is Pam Peach. She is the one who told me about the hostel in the forest where we are right now. And she is one of the longest licensed midwives in the state of Florida, and she just recently retired. And I've known her now for about 15 years, so I've witnessed her birth many, many souls into this world. And her love and respect and honor of women is something that most women will never feel being on the receiving end of. Her daughter is also one of my best friends. So the two of them together have just been such an amazing support system for me. And with that, Pam created this women's circle, that women's gathering, and that we've been doing every week since I came here. I was going, and it's about 12 women, and I was the youngest one at 41. And the one thing on the very first night of this meeting that I learned is that no matter what age we are, we still have no fucking clue what's going on. We don't. And we can go through relationships, become a widow, remarriage, family stuff. Our children grow up and maybe pass away. And it's sitting there when I was at like this pivotal moment of change. I also have a son that me coming here was a huge factor in, and they just supported me in doing what my soul was calling me to do. And I was able to look out at this group and see that all of these women were still like in their heads the same age as I am, just still exploring this world, and they're part of it. Sure, our body ages over time, and I've worked with the elderly as well for the last 3 years, so working in that environment was super special to me. But it really made me want to live my life while I can, because we can't worry about what's going to happen or the things that we don't know. And that was just a great lesson from them, that it's going to happen anyway. All the things that you might be scared of happening are probably going to happen. So you just got to live your life and be happy and loving and peaceful and strong for the other women around. It's been really lovely to have them.
Oh, this is, with you sharing that, speaking to me, watching you, and I'm here on this, spent the night here last night, so I'm all, refreshed and re-energized. But the way you shared that, it was like you were just speaking to one of your best friends. And I think that, and we're complete strangers in the fact, in a sense. But that is that's the special thing about the connection women have for each other. That message you just shared, live your life.
Live it. And don't, we get so tied up in these relationships that we create, whether it be our partnerships or our children that we bear, or the circle of community, that
our jobs,
that we do get lost sometimes. And we have to be able to come back to ourselves somehow. For me, it has been my girlfriends. I do have a couple close girlfriends that we travel with, and that our children are friends, and we are not bound by blood, and I call them my sisters, and I don't want, I don't want to live this life without them. They're some of my first calls when I need someone to talk to, without explanation, without, a feeling judged. And I've been very lucky to surround myself with some pretty amazing women.
Yeah. And do you agree, once you recognize the importance of having and valuing FCW relationships, you really tend to not have any other type?
It's true. It's really hard for me to have surface level relationships. Although it's necessary to protect. And that's the amazing thing about the forest here. We meet people and we know that the time is temporary. So you can really try to bond, and without expectations, without feeling like this person is going to need something from me or take something from me. You can give a little more freely. And that includes with just a support, a hand, a shoulder to lean on sometimes.
Yeah.
It's it's a big part of that here for me.
Yeah. So, and one of the, guiding principles for the FCW Society is about respect, encourage, and celebrate not only the women in our lives, but all people and actually the planet.
Yeah.
So I like to ask, how do you incorporate those three: respect, encourage, celebrate, with your personal life, your job here? I think you kind of mentioned it already, just by opening up, encouraging. I
really try to stay in the present moment. And I have a couple mantras that I repeat all the time. Observe, don't absorb. That's a big one for me, because I am a very sensitive person. So if I absorbed all of your energy, it would weigh me down. So I've learned how to observe the situation without allowing my personal feelings to intermix as much as I can. And another little mantra that my girlfriends and I say all the time is Q-tip. Quit taking it personal. Because a lot of times we're a mirror, right? We're reflecting. So I try to just stay open that your reaction, or in general, everyone's personal reaction is not about me, even if it might be about me in the moment, right? In some sort of way. But I try to just give everyone the space, and especially here, people sometimes just need a place to be without feeling like there needs to have expectations of the world weighing on them. So when you're here and someone asks, how are you? They're actually waiting for the answer. Whereas out in the world, it's a little different. You can say, oh, how you doing, or whatever. And there's not that pause to actually get the person's response. So here, I learned that. And I do take that with me, where if I won't just ask, how are you, to people, if I don't have a moment to open up, to allow that answer. And I feel like that builds a genuine connection when you do sit and look in somebody's eyes and give them a moment to be like, wait a second, how am I actually? And this person who will have no judgment is willing to let me vent for a second. And it's pretty powerful sometimes.
Yeah, that is powerful. That is. It's a great way to look at stuff. How do you apply that sometimes in the real world too, which is another conversation.
Well, also, a group of strong women, we all have our opinions, and that was also traveling. I just did a travel trip with 13 women. We planned a retreat, and we traveled, and you've got to balance everybody's things and how they are. But if you don't have any expectations for how someone is supposed to be, and you just allow them to be, then a lot of times they surprise you and show up for you in ways that you didn't know you needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow, so much goodness here, so much fucking coolness. So any, what do you want to share? What's one last kind of idea, or what do you want the
Well,
listeners to know?
obviously, meeting you here in the forest and me just starting my journey here as the manager, I am so thankful for the strong women that I've met here. When I was first on staff, it was only women, and it was 5 of us, and we handled this place. And yes, we do need men. There has to be a balance of energy.
Yeah.
So not saying that at all, but just some of the most powerful, coolest, strongest women I've ever met have come out of this place, connecting back to the earth, and then, blooming into beautiful flowers and out in the world. And it's really, really cool to see. So, of course, I welcome everyone to come check out the forest. You'll find it in your own timing, and it's not for everybody. If you don't like camping, right, it can sometimes be a struggle, but it is a really magical place to exist and to meet people and to connect with other strong fucking women.